The last decade has been pretty rough for most things. Quality of life, trust in humanity, good taste in art, social movements in America, the rest of America, queer folk, J.D. Vance's dignity, and many more. But there have been a few things that have thrived, like... oh god. That's really good. There it is! Social Deduction is a genre game where a small group of high-powered ne'er-do-wells attempt to outwit, outsmart, and outlast a large group of low-powered good folk. This is known in other circles as capitalism. Social Deduction is more than just a genre of art. It is a lifestyle. Ask any autistic person and they'll tell you that navigating the social fabric of society is an unholy puzzle of assumptions and rules that one misstep will forever shatter your chances at having a sensible, fulfilling social life. And now it comes in a box! Social Deduction is thriving right now. It's been one of my favorite genres for a long time, and I'm glad to finally see it reach its truest potential. And I'm here to tell you about it, in form of a YouTube video. But who am I? Hi, I'm Senbian, professional bastard, and awarded biggest waste of space 3 years in a row in high school. I've also played a lot of social deduction games for well over a decade, and I used to work in immersive entertainment, designing and building experiences like escape rooms. The Lord works hard. Ghost of Reagan works harder. Let's start with the show Traitors. I've never seen it. I hear people like it. I don't know. Next, the grandmother of the whole genre. I've never played it. Just never came up. It set the foundation, but it has been handily surpassed. I just learned that Nintendo released a mobile Fire Emblem social deduction game. Sure. Why the hell not? It sucks. Murder mystery parties. These are similar and are also doing well, I think, but they are different. These are more collaborative, pre-planned experiences. It's like a fine ballroom dance. Elegant, smooth, expensive. Social deduction is more breakdancing, free-form, chaotic, beautiful, and most importantly, communal. Social deduction is a communal genre. The best ones invite new people into your world, gives them an activity to share with you, stories to create, bonds to forge. It's like you're building your own little town of Salem.
Town of Salem and its sequel, Town of Sins, Town of Zaz, Town of Salem 2, boring, are the unholy matrimony of mafia, werewolf, and video games. For over a decade, this has been the best way to play that classic mafia-styled social deduction online. But how does it fare these days? Steam charts would leave you to believe the game is dying, clickbaity red circles and the like. But here's the thing. Dead games don't get updates. And there's a solid community behind Town of Salem 2. It was not particularly hard to get into a lobby at off hours, and the gameplay is time-tested and classic. And much like a classic 1967 Camaro, it's showing its age. Town of Salem is fun. Conditionally. Like most internet things, it's filled with lol cows and blue check edgelords, and while the game has gotten a lot of consistent updates, they keep reworking characters a lot. And it is hard to learn everything with the player base that can be hostile to newer players. Town of Salem also has a problem with kingmakers, where all of these battles between town and the mafia culminate into the decision of one fucking guy with no stakes in the race. It's incredibly unsatisfying, but thankfully Town of Salem 2 has worked to mitigate this a lot. Now, I know I've been bullying Town of Salem 1 and 2, but at its core, they're good games. And I do trust a lot of the updates have been positive for them. And I do still like it, even if I have problems with it. It's the old reliable of social deductions. Now, a consistent issue with social deduction is the death problem. What happens when you die? Normally, you sit around and do nothing. Town of Salem 1 had a role called the Medium, which could talk to the dead, which was fun and overhated. Town of Salem 2 has gambling for the dead. It's uninteresting. This is one of the biggest hurdles for the genre. It's what pushes new players away, sitting around doing nothing while everyone else plays. The problem persists like a pox or a pus. These monstrous malices live among us.
You're not the only master of segues.
Imagine Mafia at its most basic. No special roles or abilities. Just you, the mob, and the open road. Among Us is the goofy CalArts Beanmouth version of that. The cultural zeitgeist that brought us together in the midst of the pandemic. Among Us is as basic a digital edition of Mafia you can get. Now with cute marketable figures and a robust ventilation network. I don't need to tell you how nuclear this blew up, and how much the radiation still lingers in popular culture to this day. But how is it now in 2026? Well, they added 2 maps in 6 years, and cosmetic battle passes in the form of a hypercube. It sounds like I'm being regressive towards it, and I probably am, but Among Us is the streamlining to end all streamlining of the formula. You cannot get more aerodynamic and slick in a social deduction form. What is that asterisk doing there? Among Us is social deduction junk food. It's fast, it's easy, it's colorful, it's not very deep. And it doesn't have to be. It blew up 2 years after its launch, and 6 years after that managed to keep very sizable player numbers, and spawned an entire army of games influenced by it. And besides maybe the mode and party animals, surprisingly well crafted, it has not been surpassed. It will persist, and I respect it. I don't personally play it often, but it's a lot of fun with. These are the social deduction games on Steam that I watched the Yogscast play. There are a lot of them, and they come in many forms, like Lockdown Protocol, Among Us in 3D, but no voting, only murder and creativity. Dale and Dawson Stationary Supplies, an office parody where you slack off instead of kill in the name of the managerial dictatorship. Death Note Killer Within, Death Note Among Us, but with mechanics. Perhaps too many. First Class Trouble, Spacefaring Bioshock, where robots kill the rich people. So Spacefaring Bioshock, but less Ayn Rand. Dread Hunger, 19th century sailors versus cannibal cultists in the Arctic. All of these are cute and fun in their own ways, with different flavors or aesthetics. However, I always find the ones that lean into the inherent creativity and openness one can have in a video game the most fun, like Dread Hunger or Lockdown Protocol, where there's no voting phase, and you're never quite sure you got the evil people out. And creativity is rewarded greatly. That being said, there's one game in particular that I have yet to mention. The one game that even a pocket glance at my channel you would see is currently 90% of my output. A genre being popular is not a genre peaked. One does not spend this long discussing the current state of social deduction unless there is something monumental, something game-changing, something that's been out for a few years already. Welcome to Ravenswood Bluff, traveler. I've been a big fan of the board game YouTube channel Shut Up and Sit Down for a few years now. They single-handedly dragged my sorry ass into the world of board gaming, introducing me to Twilight Imperium, Zuvidis, Root, Decrypto, Alice is Missing, and many more. But their review of Blood on the Clocktower, mixed with the Yogscast series on it, mixed with a brand new board game shop opening at 4 blocks from my house who started running Clocktower last year, absolutely hooked me. What Shut Up and Sit Down do so well is not just describe the game, but describe why you should care about it. It's not enough to explain its mechanics, how it expands upon the foundation of Mafia in such clever ways, how it solves the death problem, how it merges social deduction with TTRPGs and makes for a truly unique experience, how it invented concepts which so effortlessly redefine what it means to be a good social deduction game. They grab you by the soul and show you the delight in the gameplay, a poetic diatribe of the layers within, so endlessly deep and yet with a gentle hand, guides new players into a safe cove to wait in, to learn and fail without fear of drowning in the ocean. Blood on the Clocktower is my favorite board game of all time. Arguably game of all time, but that's up for debate. I could spend hours talking about the mechanics, how death is flipped from a pure negative to a powerful tool, how the storyteller acting more as a DM than a rules lawyer turns normally standard interactions into tense and exciting stories, how poisoning and drunkening softens the blow of accusation, defanging potentially heated moments, how drastically different characters can change the feeling of the game. But the script system ensures you only ever need to worry about a select few of the hundreds of possible roles. But I will spare you that, and discuss one mechanic in particular that really exemplifies the genius of Clocktower: madness. Normally in social deduction games, you can't interact with the social layer outside yourself. You can make mechanical info bad, and you can lie, but you can't make anyone else lie, and that matters. If you play with the same people often, you'll learn the gives and tells of different players, little social tics and tendencies that make solving the game easier. In Blood on the Clocktower, there is a mechanic called madness, where a player must pretend to be a different role than they are. And this is fucking genius. By forcing otherwise good players to act strange, to double claim, to give false info knowingly, you turn what was once a separate social and mechanical time and space into a fabric of space-time. Each aspect pulling and affecting the other, giving the game a level of fogginess that elevates it to unknown heights. Is that player evil and floundering? Are they good and made mad? Are they doing some kind of play? The social game has been made into a mechanic, and that, to my knowledge, has never been done before. And it's one of the many aspects that makes Clocktower a different beast. Blood on the Clocktower is not a battle between good and evil. It is a dance, a story, one where even the most mundane characters play vital roles, where mechanics fall away and players can live and breathe in this communal space of puzzles and mischief. It is an experience, one where victory and defeat are secondary to just being in the moment. A game that revels in the journey, where death is not the end, it's only the beginning. Like all social deductions, however, Clocktower does require a good 5+ players to play at minimum, but if you can't find in-person groups, then the lovely folks at the Pandemonium Institute have made a handy little online app to play games in, and this thing is a dream. It's free to sign up and play, but you must pay to the Patreon to start your own lobbies. But there's usually public lobbies available, or private groups looking for new people. If you ever wanted to try it out, I highly recommend the online app to get started. I know this sounds sponsored, it's not. I just really like it.
So how is social deduction in 2026? Well, it's... Wait, what about that asterisk from earlier?
Alright, so this one's just for me, but Spyfall is my second favorite social deduction game by far. This game is a treat. Everyone gets a card with a location on it. Could be a space station, a restaurant, a nightclub, a crusader camp. But one person gets a card that says spy, and they don't know what location it is. Everyone then asks questions to each other, trying to figure out if they know what location they're at. But if the spy manages to figure it out, they can reveal and guess, and if they get it correct, they win. It's a delightful dance of questions which hint at certain aspects of a place, but without context could go anywhere. Do you ask about the working conditions? About the quality of salt? If some obscure song from 1973 that has lyrics relevant to the location would be appropriate here? Anything and everything is on the table, and it's so goddamn fun. Absolutely recommend.
So how is social deduction in 2026? Thriving. Clocktower is going more mainstream. Various flavor of the month games are actually quite decent. The classics are still kicking. It has never been a better time to be a fan of social deduction games than right now. If any of them seem interesting to you, check them out. With that, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, then I'm sure you know how YouTube works. Leave your various tithes at the door on the way out. And with that, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, then I'm sure you know how YouTube works, and you can leave your various tithes at the door on the way out. I stream Blood on the Clocktower and various other things at twitch.tv/Senbian. So come on by if you're interested. Who would have guessed the best way to make communities that kill them off one by one? I also make music if you're interested in listening to things. See ya!